So I'm just going to turn it over to them. We'll go Lisa, Annalisa, Natalie, and then Marie.
I hope I did that right. Okay. Thank you, Valerie. Before I came to the Kennedy Center, I was working in the Family, Home, and Social Sciences when Global Women's Studies was there. So I got to advise a little bit on Global Women's Studies prior to it coming to the Kennedy Center. Then I came to the Kennedy Center in 2018 and Global Women's Studies followed me. So I love that I've been able to advise the Global Women's Studies program. I think it's a really great way to add some diversity to your studies at BYU and to get some different perspectives. So like Valerie mentioned, I have kind of two roles with the Global Women's Studies program. The first and foremost is as your academic advisor. So if you want to add the Global Women's Studies minor, you do have to go to whoever has your primary major. You go to their Advisement Center and you ask them to add the Global Women's Studies minor. But then if you actually want any help with the Global Women's Studies minor, like how to plan your classes or what the elective options are, or kind of a basic of what the capstone is, any of those types of questions, you can come to me here in this building. We're in 273, just down the hallway from here. And I can help with understanding any of the GWS requirements, planning for the individual classes. If you do get any type of substitutions or need any type of special approvals to your record, I'm the one who's going to end up making those changes. Of course, you will work with the Global Women's Studies office for those approvals, but then I'm the one who's making it actually happen on your record. The other thing that the Kennedy Center or the Advisement Center likes to do is connect you with experiences or opportunities or brainstorm different ways to get involved. And then depending on what you choose, I might send you to one of these great ladies or other people on campus. But we do have a weekly email that we send out from the Advisement Center that offers just a few highlights of events going on and gets you connected to different resources as well. If you change into our majors, you automatically get on this list, but as a minor, you may or may not be on the list. So if you're not getting our weekly advisement email, you're welcome to scan that QR code at the end and jump on that list. Another great resource is the Kennedy Center website. Under the events, under calendar, is where you will get all sorts of things. It applies to all the international and area studies majors and minors, but we also post all the Global Women's Studies events that are going on that calendar as well. So if you're looking to get involved, that is a great way to stay involved, is through the calendar on the Kennedy Center website as well. And then as an advisor, if you happen to be struggling with your academics or you want connections to any other university resource to help you in your studies in general, I can get you connected with those types of resources as well. And then moving on from that role, I'm also the Internship Coordinator for the domestic experiences. So that means if you're living in the US when you do your internship, even if it's a remote internship to a different country, if you are physically living in the US during the time of your internship, it's me you're working with. The university considers that as a domestic internship because that's where you are located. And then there is a university internship office, and they require an application process, and there's different policies and rules around number of hours you have to complete per credit and that kind of thing. So I'm there to help you, guide you through all that logistical stuff, and then I'm also transitioning this next semester starting in winter into facilitating the coursework that goes alongside that internship so you can get a letter grade for that experience. So that's me. If you have any other questions, I'm sure we'll have time for that at the end. But that's kind of what I'm here for, and the main goal is to get you connected with different experiences and different opportunities and make sure you have a really great experience as being a part of the GWS program.
I feel like I want to clap. I just want to clap, Lisa. Yay.
Hey, so I'm the Internship Coordinator currently for Global Women's Studies. We have a lot of exciting things happening, I think, with internships right now. In the past, students were responsible for finding their own internships, coming to me with everything sort of set up already, presenting the idea. I would say, yes, I approve this, it fits in with GWS, or maybe it doesn't, right? And then they would go on to talk with Lisa and get all the logistical side of things set up. Dr. Hagstrom particularly has been working on this, and I'm helping, but in setting up new sort of more formal connections with certain groups. We'd like to have some standing agreements with different organizations so that you can just come in and say, I would like to do an internship. And then I could say, great, we have these opportunities with these organizations. So some of in the past, people have worked, our interns have worked with everything from midwifery to schools to women's shelters to social work, foster care, those kinds of things. So we've had this really wide gamut. We're looking into setting up, we've already set up an internship with By Women for Women that tells the stories of European women. Right now that's a domestic internship just because of COVID. Hopefully at some point we'll get people over to Europe as well. We're going to talk with Let's Talk Sis, if you know that it's an organization. There are two sisters that talk about racism and sort of education about awareness and those kinds of things. They're really great. I follow them on Instagram. You should all follow them on Instagram. I am also looking into Catholic services based up in Salt Lake. There are 2 refugee groups based in Salt Lake that I would really like to set up internships with. There's the Utah refugee group here, Utah Valley refugees here as well. Mormon Women for Ethical Government. So we have a lot of upcoming things that we're hoping to have in place by next semester. And if you're interested in any of those opportunities, please come talk to me. And we really can fit you in, whatever your major is, we can fit you in. So, for example, the By Women for Women were looking for people in marketing and also people in editing and writing, and other people are looking for more social work kinds of interns. And so whatever you're mostly interested in, we can find you an opportunity to do that. So I encourage you to come talk to me at any point. My office is in the JFSB. I'm on the 3rd floor. Come find me, and I would be happy to help with internships.
Time to figure out my mic. Okay, so just a little personal anecdote. I came to BYU about 1.5 years ago, and I will just say I love Global Women's Studies. I met with Valerie and Marie, and they were like the first people. I was like, oh, they're like my people here, because I do not have a background at BYU Provo, so I was a little in shock when I came. Let's just say that. But yeah, so I am a career director. I'm over in career services over the Wilkinson Center, and I mean, I've loved what everyone has said. I really support everybody and what they're doing. I'm a big advocate for internships. I think that is one of the greatest ways you can prepare your career. But meeting with me, we can really do a lot of things. So I work with students to find jobs or internships. I am a big advocate for networking, so I will help you get started with that, what that looks like, how you can start planning for that. I also do a lot of graduate prep as well with my students. I've read so many personal statements this past semester. So, and just anything really, mock interviews, anything that really is going to help you be career ready and kind of move along and get what you need. So, whether right now you're looking for part-time jobs or afterwards just that job that you want, that you can have the skills and be ready and be marketable, that kind of the value and the strengths that you bring. And that's something I really work hard for students, just to really start to know themselves, and really start to think, okay, what fits me, do some career exploration, and how can I prepare for the future. And so my biggest thing is come see me early, because please don't come like a week before you graduate, because that is so hard. But the earlier you start, the better. And I have just I've been meeting actually with a lot of sophomores in my other majors, and they have been having wonderful success getting internships, getting part-time jobs, and just kind of positions that are more senior or like even in law school. And so it really just networking, connecting, preparing yourself now can make all the difference. And so definitely come and visit me, and I can help you really with anything that you need that will help you on your career path.
You did? Okay, great. Thank you, everybody, for coming. And I agree with everything the other panelists said. I've worked less with Lisa, but more with Natalie and with Dr. Holling. And I have to say, I can tell you so many success stories of people that have worked with them, if you want to do that part later. Hi, Corey. My name's Dr. Orton, and I am part of my responsibility on the executive committee is to help people prepare for graduate school, not just programs in global women's studies, but law school or whatever they want to do. I need to say straight up, first of all, you all need to tell your friends about the people on this panel, okay? If you were my students, I would give you extra credit points for every friend you talk to about the people on this panel, because they will make your life so much better, okay? So that's the first thing. The other thing is, in my view, once a BYU students, always a BYU students. You are our students. So even if you graduate, you take a gap year, you work for a while, and then you come back to us and say, can you still help me? The answer is yes, of course. I'll still read your statement for law school. I'll still help you with those things, okay? So those things need to be said. The other thing I've kind of readjusted in my mind what I wanted to say today, because after I have to put in a plug, Sarah, I went to the Global Women's Studies Hangout. Is that what it's called? Thursdays at 11. I hope you're doing it next semester. Oh my goodness, it was such a great time. And after that, so many people came to talk to me about graduate school plans. I didn't realize that's what I should have been doing all semester long. But Sarah asked a couple questions that I think are really important. And so I'm thinking of those kinds of questions that came up, and I'm going to play back for you the conversations I had with some people this week. One question is, do I want to go to graduate school? Yes, you do. So let's just move on, okay? Everybody needs to get ready to do it. You might not go, but if you're not prepared, it's certain that you won't, right? So everyone, I think, should prepare for those things. Anything you do to prepare for graduate school and position yourself for that will be a good experience that will help you with everything else as well, with jobs, with everything else. So the other thing is, when do I start preparing? When you're in school, right? Everything you're doing is helping you get ready for your next step all the time. The other question that came up all the time is, how do I know what school I want to go to? How do I know what I want to do? And I would say, you talk to these people, right? You'll talk to, there was one person who came to my office this week who said, I've talked to a person about graduate school and I still don't know what to do. And I think that's great. That's great. You should talk to a person about it. I think you should talk to at least 10, just to give you some numbers, right? About 10 people about graduate school. And we would be about half of that. But they need to be professors in your department. They need to be people who are in graduate school. So it's hard, especially if you don't have people in your life who've gone to graduate school, it's hard to know how much of this do I do? And the answer is a lot. You'll talk to several people all along the way. The other question that came up during this week was, when I'm looking at schools, how do I even know what I want and what I'm looking for? And I would say, this is my mantra, poor Sarah's heard it before. If you're uncertain and you're undecided, you need more information. And you need to get reliable information from trusted sources. So if you're looking at graduate programs and you don't even know what you're looking at, then you talk to several people. Come and talk to me. You can talk to an advisor in your major. Lisa can help you navigate that. Natalie, I have watched her navigate that, and it was amazing. There are more people. You'll start to get a consensus of information, but one person won't be able to give you answers. Everyone will give you information, and you'll cull out of that your answers. The most important, I realize, I'm trying to keep it short so you guys can ask all your questions. I think one of the most important things you can do at this point is plan on at least one internship and plan on some kind of employment through your undergraduate experience, part-time, summer employment, something like that. The advice I give everybody is open a document when you go home today, no matter where you are in your path, and entitle it Significant Experiences. And start typing into it now where you are, work backwards chronologically, and just type up every kind of thing you've done from the first day you set foot on this campus, and put a little description with dates and that kind of thing. So Sarah is definitely putting down that you are GWS Honor Society, right? I mean, these kinds of things, classes, experiences, any kind of thing like that. Then when it comes time to get more, when you're closer to the application process, which usually happens your senior year or summer of your junior year, right? You'll already have this wonderful list of things that some of which you will have forgotten about by the time you get closer, and you'll start to see a narrative developing in it, and that will help you move forward. Many people can help you read your personal statements, help you with your application and that kind of thing, and we can talk about that if you're already at that stage. But that's my quick advice for where you are right now. That's it. We are so thorough. I feel so good about ourselves right now. Can we ask you questions? Who's a sophomore? Who's a sophomore? Who's a junior? Who's a senior? Freshman? Did I say it wrong? That's even better. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to just jump. That's like super initiative. That's so great. I mean, great. Okay, great. So you're all thinking about these things already. That's great. Okay.
Can I say one thing about internships really quickly? I just, so I've been doing this for 2.5 years, I think, and the most we've ever had at one time, one semester, was 5. And I would love to see that number double. I would love to see everybody in GWS do an internship.
5 internships?
That was the max that we had. 5
Oh,
students, 5 students doing an internship at one time. And I would love to see more,
Okay.
much more.
We need 20 a semester.
Yeah.
Okay.
Every GWS minor do it.
We would love that.
Yeah, well, I've been wondering, do you have internships in the summer though?
Yes, there are internships opportunities for spring, for summer, and you can plan, whatever works best for you. And the internship credits are variable. Most people take 3 credits because it, fills the place of the class, and that makes sense.
Yeah.
But if you can't, we've had people in the past say, I'm going to do 1 credit this semester to the next. I mean, we can be flexible with that. And it's 42 hours of work per credit hour.
Okay.
If that helps you sort of conceptualize a little bit.
Somebody asked about funding. What if I want to do an internship and I can't pay, and they're not going to pay me? It's an unpaid internship, but I need money.
That's a great question. I think that we have a global initiative. Is that what it's called? No. Experimental.
Learning.
Sorry, that was the other one. Experiential learning. Yes, we have funds in GWS to help with that, and you can apply for those funds.
I was just going to add quickly to our 2 freshmen that don't waste your first summer. That is something I see so many students do where they're like, I'm a freshman. They just go play that first summer, but that is vital time. You might not be able to get everything because a lot of it is for upper class, but there are internships and opportunities available. So if you start this summer and continue on, you're going to be so ahead of the game. And what I always like to say is exposure and experience, right? And that's what's going to help you realize kind of what path you want to go down and give you those skills. So just to you two, definitely make sure you utilize the summer coming up.
I'm sorry, I just have to add something. Am I still here? I still have to add something to what Nellie says. Let's say you do have to work because life, right? That doesn't mean your summer's wasted. Anything you do that you can put on your list of significant experiences is going to be to your advantage. So that might mean volunteering some. It might mean taking some kind of class or something, but something in the summer that you can put on that list. So I'm just totally agreeing with you. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut off hands. So we're coming up.
I was curious, so let's say we've got roommates. I mean, I have 4 roommates, right? But no, if I'm an undergrad and I've got roommates, and maybe I have a roommate who's a psychology major, but she's really, I've been able to talk up GWS. Maybe she's interested in your internships particularly. Can she come and visit you, or is that verboten?
Verboten, absolutely not. No, yeah, of course. And I would, of course, encourage, if someone is interested in GWS and interested in doing an internship with GWS, I would encourage them to look into the minor, right? And to do the minor, because the beautiful thing about the GWS minor is that it can be paired really well with everything, right? And so, no, absolutely. Anybody that's interested in participating in one of these things can come and talk to me.
And I'm just going to add something else that I saw. As I've just spoke to alumni in Global Women's Studies, a lot of them have said that their minor has been the biggest thing to open doors for them, especially coming from BYU. And so kind of moving to the coast, that has been able to bring them a lot of opportunities. So it's just a great thing to have on your transcript/resume.
Sarah, did you?
Yeah, I guess something that grad programs. So I'm in public health, and I think that I kind of want to go more of like a data focus, kind of like epidemiology or like stats stuff. And I guess I've been like kind of sad or kind of wondering like, well, I have this like such rich background in like women's studies, and I don't want to lose that if I go and choose a program that's not like specifically like a women's studies like grad program. So I don't know, do you have advice on maybe like personally, because I don't think all of you went for like women's stuff, but
Okay, we're at BYU and we've been in this for 30 minutes, so I now get to bear my testimony. Okay? You will never waste the information and the credentials and the experiences that you have. Things will come to you that will require those things. I can tell you so many experiences, my own and other people's, where if you have training and expertise in something, it will, as Natalie says, it will open up doors for you that will happen. If you feel like right now you need to do a master's or a PhD program that doesn't focus on those are not wasted things. Those skills will still be used, they will get rolled in, so no reason for sadness. Those, as Neil A. Maxwell said about charity, this is true also for global women's studies expertise. It might not always be immediately accepted, but it is never wasted. And I have seen that happen so many times. So it will be asked of you.
And that might be something, I mean, it might inform your research at some point, right? It might focus your research at some point. I mean, my PhD is in literature, just literature. It's not global women's studies or women's studies or gender studies or any of those things, right? But my research is women writers, right? My research is nuns and things that happened in the early modern period with women, right? And so even though my PhD is not necessarily, that's not the focus of it, all of my research has to do with that. And so there are ways to integrate both of those things, I think.
And I think to add to what Professor Annalisa Halling is saying, I think sometimes even like when you go into an internship experience, there's going to be a set of, here's what we want you to do and here's what we'll do for the company. But there's also space for you to say, here's some things I want to gain skills in, or here's some things I want to contribute, or some things I have to contribute. Is there any way I can apply this to make your organization better, or could we explore some of these ideas? So I think you can take your training from GWS and maybe even contribute to whatever grad program you're going to, or be like kind of, not to be cliche, but kind of like a pioneer in, maybe incorporating, are we thinking about how this might be affecting the women in this program, or, be someone who's willing to make change or be an advocate for change based on your past knowledge and things that you've done, that those experiences that you're bringing with you.
And I just want to put a plug in, because Lisa's class that she set up is really, a large part of it is to help you identify what skills you learned in your internship and how those transfer. And so I just wanted to shout out to Lisa's design of the class, which is excellent. Sorry.
Oh, no. I was just going to add, especially now, like DE&I, right, diversity, equity, inclusion are just very hot topics, but in every workplace. So your global women's studies minor will do so much good in contributing in those spaces. And so, I mean, even now, like, people are contacting me and asking me questions for, like, I'm like, I don't know. But, like, but it will make such a difference. And so I think just having that perspective will, again, like I said, just open up a lot of doors.
I'm sorry, I said I was going to give my testimony. I didn't get to give an experience about one of our global women's studies majors who was in healthcare and went into hospital administration, am I remembering correctly, Valerie? And because of training from global women's studies, became responsible for doing all of the anti-sexism training that got initiated under this person and instituted through the hospitals. So those kinds of things, they're never wasted. You will use them, you will see, and then you'll come back and be on one of our alum panels. That's what's going to happen. So, reading your future. Okay. Other questions? Can we ask you a question then? How can we best get the information to the Global Women's Studies students that these kinds of resources are available, because we would love for all of our majors, all the people in our classes to know this. What would have been, because we appreciate your sacrifice coming on a Tuesday at 4 o'clock, but we would love, as students, what would you advise us about the best way to get this information to all of you?
And how do we get all of the students to feel like it's okay to reach out to these scary people? You can see how scary they're out there. It's the masks.
I mean, I know it's hard. You don't reach a lot of people, but when advisors come and visit classes personally and be like, hey, come talk to me. This is who I am. I'm actually really approachable. I found that that's helpful, and I have talked to advisors, and as soon as I do it, game changer. So I think as soon as you can get students to just meet with an advisor one time and just see how approachable they are, it's so helpful.
That was the comment that came out of the hangout on Thursday, that to a person, all of the students in the group said exactly that. They said, come to the classes and visit people. And they said, come to the 222 class, the first course, when we're freshmen. And they said, you should all come and visit. And I thought, those classes are taught by Global Women's Studies faculty. They would be excited to see us. So I appreciate that comment. I appreciate I appreciate the consensus of it too. Other things that would that be the silver bullet? Would that do it all? Because we will take anything.
In public health, something along that same vein, like over COVID. So I don't know if before COVID, like they actually went in, but I know schedules can be crazy sometimes, and going there can be hard. But one of my it was like an intro public health class, and he went and had the different professors from like public health record like a 2-minute video kind of thing, and then he played the video in our intro class. So if coming is maybe hard to schedule, that's another option too.
I appreciate that. No, thank you very much. We all look great on those clips, so that would be great.
Dr. Jordan, I love what you said about if like you're uncertain or undecided, you need more information.
That's my mantra.
I'm not a global women's studies major or minor, and that's
You will be.
Yeah. But I think that if more people had more information, just like you were saying, about how their major can be connected to this minor, then they'd be more willing to come.
Yeah.
Because at first, like global women's studies, it in my mind, it's not very broad because I don't have that information yet. But it could be as you get more information to it.
What's your major?
Human resource management.
So half of the humans are women.
They're gonna get you, Caitlin. The moment you set foot in this room, it was over.
It's like a tractor beam or something. No, I love the idea of a clip, right? Because then people can do it when they want. It's just, anyway, information. It fixes everything. Thank you.
And I think sometimes students think kind of on a linear path of, I need to find this road sign, and then that road sign is going to take me to the next road sign, and I'm just going from point A to point B. But I like to think of it more as like a fruit basket, as you're talking to different people, different students in your majors, different professors. You're like picking up different fruit, and you're just getting this variety of information. And then as you go through your experience, you start to hone in on which pieces of fruit are your thing, or which things you want to follow more closely or get more information or learn more deeply. And I think sometimes it's really important to be open-minded to just that, gathering that information into the basket and just collecting it and just kind of pondering on it, but still moving forward, jumping into experiences, even if it doesn't feel like, oh, it's not 100% aligned with what I want, but it's still experience. It's still something. And what I find most in my internship class, and part of the reflections that we do, more often than not, I have students commenting on things like, I thought this is what I wanted to do, but having exposure either confirms that for them or helps them pivot into another direction. It really helps them have aha moments, whether it's learning about what more they want to learn or learning about their own strengths that they already have that they want to tap more into contributing with. And so I think just putting that foot forward and doing things can really help you start to have those pivot moments and those aha moments Or they might also help you, like I've had students also say like, wow, my internship really left it up to me to manage all of my own time and all of my own projects. And I realized I don't know how to do this without a professor telling me part A is due on Wednesday, part B is due on Friday. And so even little professional skills, you really start to learn about yourself in these smaller experiences that are windows of time rather than maybe like on your first job. And so for a lot of my students that in the internship program, that's what's been so rewarding for me, is being able to kind of be alongside of watching them discover these things about themselves.
Can I just concur about that? Because I think lots of times it's not right to call BYU a disease, but I think we have this, I think sometimes I see my students, because they are very high-performing students, feel like the best thing I can do to prepare for my next step is get a 4.0. And everything should be concentrated on that, and that's the most important skill in the world. And since there are very few jobs for professional test takers, the most important, right? The skill set is wider than that. And so I'm just so mentally thinking about the women who came to see me this week and were saying things like, when I talk to people, it's just so frustrating because maybe they have 10% of what they say is relevant. And I'm thinking, wow, that was really good. Like, got 10%? That's great. That's a good percentage. Because as you're talking to people, as you're learning to take the initiative to find things, as you're learning to pivot, as you're learning to, evaluate things, as you're learning to become comfortable just cold calling people if you have to, those kinds of things that are part of information gathering, you're really developing a skill set, but you're also learning to evaluate information. And those are the things you're really going to be doing when you leave here. And so I'd love to adjust people's expectation so that when you go to get information from us and how qualified these people are, you won't come out thinking, now I know what I want to do. That's not what's going to happen, right? You're going to come away thinking, 10%, that was a great percentage, and Natalie had treats. That's what you're going to think, and it's going to be great. You know what I mean? It's going to be, I just want to adjust people's expectations, if I can at all.
I think you guys have been so inspiring, and I would really like to meet with you. Is your contact
Monday, Wednesday,
info-
Friday from 1 to 2.
Where can I find your office hours or your info? Is that on the Global Women's Studies website? Everybody, you guys are all on there?
I don't know if I am, but I brought my cards.
I don't know if I'm on there either, but my office is just down the hall on the right. It's 273. You can either call our front desk number, email us, or walk in and say I want an appointment. And we're pretty available from 8 to 5-ish.
My office hours haven't changed in 5 years, so anyway, the same. Yeah, you can always get
awesome.
Yeah, email me, just
Email?
appointments.
Yeah,
so
I'll take your card.
For me as well, email. If I'm not teaching, I'm in my office.
Okay, and where can I find your email?
It's halling@byu.edu, and I think I should be.
You are on the website
the
as well.
GW's website.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you
Yeah.
so much. Yeah, I actually have to go.
We would love to see you all.
Oh, yeah, and take a
We'd love to
treat.
see- Please
or
do.
2 or 3.
As many treats as your
Yes,
heart
you
desires.
should. You should share with others. Thank you so much for coming. I'm so appreciative of your initiative and your interest and your dedication to global women's studies. And sorry, I get to bear my testimony again. I really feel like I've seen our graduates make a huge immediate impact for good, which is what I think you all want to do, and we are here to be the wind beneath your wings. That's what we're here to do.
And I think an extra bonus of working with the Global Women's Studies program, both as a student, but also the associations you develop with the different faculty and the different people in the program, is like she said, the wind beneath your wings. Like, you're getting a smaller, more intimate touch point with professors and different people who can help you on your journey than maybe like if you're a pre-med student, right? Like, where there's hundreds of students doing it. But we are here to help, and we're really here to be a part of that journey for you, whatever it looks like, and be another voice to contribute to helping you shatter boxes that might be holding you back.
So I want to say 3 things before I let you go, or let you get treats and talk amongst yourselves. And I want to tell you that Lisa Snyder's name is spelled with an E. It's Lisa, L-E-S-A, Snyder with a Y, okay? Marie Orton is spelled exactly like you think Marie Orton would be spelled. And then Natalie Hansen, the same thing. She's an I-E, Natalie Hansen. It's an E at the end of Hansen. And Annalisa is A-N-N-A, hyphen Lisa, spelled with an I, not an E, okay, Annalisa, and then Halling is like Hall, Hall, and then ING. I'm telling you how to spell all those names because I think you can get to all of them by saying Lisa_Snyder at BYU.edu, Marie_Orton at BYU.edu, Natalie_Hansen at BYU.edu, and Anna-Lisa_Halling at BYU.edu. So you can contact all of them by email that way, and it will work really well. I want to tell you a couple of other things, and this is something that, I've been here at BYU for a long time. I'm the oldest person in the room. I know this because Marie and I have been friends forever, and she's a baby compared to me. So I have been here at BYU for a long time, and I have met lots and lots of students over the years who haven't figured out what God wants them to do with their lives. And that's when, as religious people and people who are spiritual, that's one of the things that we panic the most about. What is it that God wants us to do? But there's this thing about God wanting to be kind of excited to see what it is we're going to end up doing, right? I mean, as a parent and a grandparent, I'm really excited to see what my kids decide to do. Some of the things they've decided have been weird, but it's kind of cool to see what they're going to do. And so there's going to be a moment in your life, and I don't know how old you'll be. You might be 21, you might be 25, you might be 40, you might be 60. And you'll wake up one day and you'll say, oh, this is what I'm supposed to do. There's going to be that moment. It's that epiphany. But it doesn't always happen before you graduate from college. And so I want you to know that there's just like a light, a tiny light sometimes, and you just go toward that light and you just take one step after another. And at some point, that thing will happen and you'll say, oh my goodness, this is amazing, okay? But that only happens if you've taken one good step after another. You can't just stop and sit down and not do anything and then expect God to tell you what you should do, okay? You need to be in good places, doing good things. And when you've done all those good things and you've accumulated the fruit basket or you've made your list like Dr. Orton told you to do, when you've got those things, you're doing one good thing after another, doors will open, and you get to choose which door you want to step through because you've been taking those good steps. Okay, that's my advice about the long-distance future. Now I'm going to say that a lot of times we spend too much of our life living in the future. Okay, so this will go against everything we've talked about. I don't want you to ignore what we've said today, but I do really want you to know that the moment that you're living right now is one of the most important moments of your life, okay? And this time that you have at the university as GWS minors, as students who are doing all of the things that you're doing, you really want to live this moment too. You really want this to be a good time in your life. And so I think it would be great to go to your classes and do your assignments. I believe in that. I believe in you trying to work hard and get good grades. But I would tell you honestly that there are all these other things going on at the university that are even more significant. Not that you shouldn't show up for class. You just totally show up for class, totally do your homework, take your exams, do those things. But know that some of those other really great things that are happening on campus, like panel discussions or hangouts or club meetings, or lectures where really great people come to campus and teach things, or films, international cinema, or concerts, whatever those experiences are that are out there that you think, I don't have time to do that because I have to do X, Y, and Z. No, commit to yourselves that those experiences that are available at the university and won't be easily available later on in life, that you're going to grab hold of some of those experiences and include them on your list right now, because it will make your university experience so much more meaningful. And this is the moment that we have right now. So there, I'll bear my testimony about that. And I am so glad you're here and so glad that you're interested in global women's studies and just interested in being better people and making the world a better place. Thanks so much.